Guys, it is a beautiful day out here today. Yeah. I hope y'all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And it's interesting. I really like to cook and prepare meals for people, but I just don't eat very much of it. I did have a little of the green bean casserole and a little bit of potatoes, but I just don't eat. But I do enjoy cooking for other people. I pretty much enjoy feeding anyone and everything. All of our animals around here are pretty well fed. I don't know. I was kind of raised that way. I imagine a lot of people were, that those were good times, get together, had to do with food in where I was growing up. Anyway, so I thought I'd have a little talk today about. We were talking a little bit about not getting caught up in other people's games. And I did want to let you guys know that, especially after that last energy push, that there's going to be a bigger and bigger gap between the two sides of the star seeds and you going to the next frequency, the next vibration, and those that are not. So that's why I wanted to go over that of watch their games but pull away from their games, because you will not be able to change their mind, because they are creator gods and they're going to operate through their belief system. So if they believe that there is no change, if they believe that things are the same as they've always been or worse, and that's what they're going to see, because they are the ones that are creating it. They're the ones that have sent that message out to the universe. So that's what they will see. So it doesn't do you any good to help change their mind, and it'll just cause you more problems than anything else. So just kind of expect that. Expect there to be a widening gap between those that are looking at happier and happier and those that are doom and gloom or a more accepting thing, because both are out here. Both options you can see. It's like my analogy with the rose. If I hand you a dozen roses, there are people that are going to see the roses and smell the roses, and then there are going to be other people that they can only focus on the thorns and complain about the thorns. But whatever their game is doesn't have anything to do with yours at all. You will move in the timeline waves to collective consciousnesses that agree with you in what you're looking for. And it's going so well. It really is. But the ones that came to play the 3D, 4D game, they will continue to experience and see the 3D, 4D game. And if you do it right, then what will happen is you may have a conversation with someone like that and be very confused at what they're describing because you don't see it at all. And you won't see it. It will just gradually, it will not be something that you see because the vibrations, there'll be such a big gap and very little crossover between where you're vibrating and what you experience and what you see versus what they experience and they see because of where they're vibrating. It's just very much like you can't tune to channel 4 on the TV and get channel 2, right? So, and that's what's going to happen. They're going to be more and more attuned to 2, and you're going to be more and more attuned to 4. And eventually, as that gap widens and widens, then you will not see or talk to anybody that's thinking like that anymore. And that's what I've described before. Whenever I see you'll have people leave your life and you don't know exactly what happened or why, you just don't see them anymore. There's someone that's vibrating at a frequency that's too far outside your range so that you cannot communicate with them anymore. And frequency, that division, the closer you are to them, the more traumatic that breakup might be. There's usually a fight where the two frequencies get too far apart, where there will be animosity, there'll be anger, and there'll be a lot of stepping away. And that's happened a lot with me over my life. But for me, as long as you remember you're a creator God and you choose whatever you say goes. If you choose a higher frequency, you'll get to tune on into that more and more and more. And also that relates to me talking to you about flowers and essences and crystals and water and candle and fire, anything that's connected to Gaia herself and nature, of course. I always talk about nature and the wild animals. But all of that is vibrating at Gaia, and like I've told you before, there's not very much of a percentage left of Gaia that's in the fourth dimension. But by the same token, see what happens with somebody who is unconsciously creating the world around them. What they will do is they will look at today, they'll look at the truth around them, and they'll say to themselves, well, this is the way it is. Because they don't realize that what they see in front of them is what they created yesterday. So they look at today and they say, this is truth. This is the way it is. And by doing that, they're saying, I believe that the way that it is the way that it will continue to be. Therefore, that's the message they send out to the universe, and that is what they create around them. Now, eventually, what will happen, of course, as I've told you, the 2012 on people are already vibrating with access to the fifth dimension. And as they grow up and everyone else dies, then they'll finish it off and they'll be on the planet as it goes into the fifth dimension. There's a lot of other stories for the other beings that are in. A lot of the beings that wanted to continue on in the third dimension, they died and they went back to planets that are the third dimension to continue the game that they wanted to play in the third dimension. A lot of the fourth dimensional people will stay on planet for as long as they wish, really. Because what people don't realize that even when Gaia is gone, for the life of the person that continues to believe that that they're standing on Gaia, they can recreate the illusion of her being there until they die. Then when they die, of course, they'll go onto a third or fourth dimensional planet in this creation, whatever they decide to do, whatever they want to do. So it doesn't do any good to argue with them about what they see and experience, because as creator gods, they are going to decide where they're going to be and what it looks like, what they experience around them, which is why I tell you guys, just smile at them, thank them for their experience that they're adding to all that is, and continue to consciously create where you want to be, which is, for most of the star seeds, that's going to be in the fifth dimension. And just keep going with your instincts, being happier and happier, and everything will gradually change over to that direction. And you'll have less and less conversations with the people that are seeing the 3 and 4th dimensional Earth. And that's already happening a lot. It's certainly happening a lot with me. That I'm having less and less interactions with 3D, 4D people, especially 3D people. Very seldom do I interact with anyone who drops down to the frequencies that are in, especially the lower half of the third dimension. I don't interact with them at all anymore. And that's happened over the last year, so it's really moved fast for me. Also, somebody had a talk about reincarnation and the question, I guess it's a new thing, a fad thing maybe, I think they said, that you can get a demon that will make you be reincarnated again and again and again. Now, I'm going to say to you that probably if you've heard that story in any way, whether it was a demon or yourself or whatever the story is, then you probably are out of the reincarnation game just by hearing about it. And you can certainly die and it can be a demon if that's the way you want to play it, or it can just be reincarnation due to a karmic thing where you have to be a better and better person. But there's any way that you can reincarnate and make that story happen. So yes, there are people that are that create their reincarnation on the planet Earth, having to do with aliens, grabbing their spirits and throwing them back on the planet, and demons, and all sorts of stories, many stories on how the reincarnation thing is done. But if you don't want to do the reincarnation thing anymore, just simply say and mean it and believe it that you don't want to do it anymore. And that's that. It really is not as difficult as you think it's going to be. The difficulty is in the belief. Once you believe in the thing, then creating it is easy, very easy, because you are a God. And when I say God, guys, I don't mean that flippantly. I mean everything that you have learned about God, omnipotent, omnipresent, all knowing, can create anything. That is you. You are that. So it's not you're not a God with a little g. You're God with a big G. You're a real highfalutin God. So even the starseeds that have come here to help Gaia do to increase her vibration to get to the fifth dimension, that doesn't mean that you aren't a creator God still and can't continue with any other kind of game that you'd like to play. So that's all based on beliefs. So the second you don't want to play with the alien or the demon or the angel or the whatever, all you've got to do is say, nope, I'm a creator God. I control this puppy and I'm not going to do it anymore. Now, because we have been raised that we're just lowly humans and sinners and we have no control over anything, that's the trickiest part to get out of, because the belief systems are so ingrained from the time we're tiny that we're insignificant, or we're at the best insignificant and the worst horrible, horrible sinners. So that belief system is the trick of this thing. And I'll do these videos time and time again, hopefully with you guys triggering your own memories so you can come out of that belief system, because it's that gradual coming out of that belief system and communicating with all the beings that are here to help you if you want their help, that will get you to remember the God that you are. And that will get you to create a game differently than what you have created up till now. It's taking control of it and consciously creating what you want. And the hardest part for me, anyway, are the old belief systems that I've been raised with. You know, the belief systems that say gravity works, and like my eyes, for instance. I was told since I was tiny, I had glasses when I was 2 years old, and I was told every day that my vision was going to be horrible because because my parents had such bad vision. So belief way, way deep inside, that you're a sinner, you're a sinner, you're a sinner. You know, that was really, really pushed for decades on me too. So it takes a lot of that kind of belief system to remove it, to get you to create consciously and to really believe that you are a God and that you control this stuff. Now, a lot with science and a lot of science with measuring energy fields and the new physics, that helps a lot too for those of us that are scientifically minded. It helps to make that switch. But I also suggest it with the crystals and the fire and the animals and nature, because just being around, you know, whenever you're around somebody who's in a bad mood, you get in a bad mood. If you're around somebody who's really, really having a lot of fun, then you're in a better mood. Somebody that smiles a lot makes you feel like smiling. Well, the same thing is true whenever you go out into nature, or if you are really attuned to crystal work or animal work, small children, you know, anything like that. You will gravitate and you will change your vibration according to who you're hanging with, which of course has been around for, you know, birds of a feather flock together, that kind of thing, because you are drawn to the beings that are vibrating like you vibrate. And for those of us who are trying to change from what has been going on for a very long time, we have to go against that. We have to go against that. So you have to go find ways that you will surround yourself with frequencies and vibrations that are of a higher nature, so that you can get yourself attuned to that higher frequency and that new dimension. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope. Well, I hope you guys are having a great day. I am having an awesome day. And Stephanie was feeling kind of poorly, but she got up and kind of moved around a bit on Thanksgiving. And then yesterday she was back in bed again. And today I've got her out in the sunshine with her animals. So she's feeling better. So, yeah, it is just beautiful out here. I cannot tell you how pretty it is out here. So I hope everybody is having a beautiful day there. And I send out huge, huge hugs. And I love you all so, so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye.